See the difference in the flight of that one?
Yeah.
That's when the spin probably to 6, 5.
Yeah.
5, 7.
Yeah, high fives, and like you said, rather than that floater, it's more that penetrating flight. You're getting a little bit more out of it too.
Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are diving into topic, Michael, on golf balls from undisputedly the #1 company in the golf ball market, have been for as long as you and I have been on this planet.
Yep.
Most people watching this have been on the planet. From Titleist, we have the AVX golf ball. This is an off year for Pro V and Pro V1.
Yeah.
No new Pro V1 and Pro V1x golf ball for us this year. So it is a new version of the AVX.
Definitely. It's tough when new product comes out. We always think, how can you perfect that? You've played Pro V1x, I've played Pro V1x. I've dabbled in AVX before. It's like, how can you make this better? There's a new cover from it. And when it first came out, I think you and I tested it a long time ago, and it didn't really spin that great around the greens. They've really improved some technology on the ball. So excited to see how it performs against Pro V1 and Pro V1x.
Without a doubt. I think we were talking about this before we sort of started recording here, that the sort of AVX name comes from alternative to the VX golf balls, right? AVX, alternative to VX. That is basically a description of trying to offer you guys something a little bit different, expand the range of performance characteristics within the Titleist premium ball range. It's not falling into their sort of budget categories that a Tour Soft might, or some other golf balls like that. This is designed in the premium space along with Pro V1, Pro V1x. It does get some play on tour from time to time.
Yep.
I do think it's a misunderstood golf ball.
Totally.
And I think that's partially why I'm very sort of eager to do this video, because I think some people out there still believe that the golf ball is made for senior golfers. You know, they think the softer compression is, you know, softer compressions for slower swing speeds. And, you know, that gives you more of a, you know, sort of responsiveness from the golf ball off the face. Absolute. Doesn't do that. Couldn't be further from the truth. So hopefully we can get into a little bit of that today. We can show you some of the differences in spin profile and ultimately height profiles, some things that will help you guys with your own game.
Okay, Faraz, we're going to start off with a 50-yard shot.
Okay.
We're going to start with Pro V1x.
Sounds good, Michael. Do it.
Ooh.
Very nice. Very familiar.
Just clean go in. Oh. Lovely little action today. Looks crispy. New swing.
The sweet spot of the game, Michael. 50 yards.
Really nice. Good strike.
Yeah, it was better. Slightly different. Launched up, spun less.
Does it feel a lot softer than what you currently play?
Yeah, definitely. That was quite good.
Yeah, it might not be the highest of spin ball on these shots for you, but for the ball that's going flatter and looking for a little bit more distance out of a ball,
Yeah, I mean,
still spins quite well.
well, there's lots of people who, when they play, are trying to take a bit of spin off. You know, maybe they play in really receptive greens or something like that. So if you're trying to sort of maintain a particular way of playing the game, and sort of, you don't want to always be dealing with the fact like your greens are maybe slightly tilted or whatever, having a little bit less spin is a good thing.
Yeah.
There's definitely less spin. There's no doubt about that.
For sure, yeah.
Definitely is a little bit.
Okay, pitching wedge. Okay, Faraz, Pro V1x, 130-yard wedge shots. Let's see what you got. Good swing. It's a good swing.
Yeah, those two felt identical.
Yeah. Good strike.
Pro V?
Yeah, change it up, Pro V. That was well struck. It's a good strike.
Well, we're right, but... All right, AVX.
All right. So from this new ball, this is where we should start to see some flight starting to come down. Obviously, the 50-yard shots are what you flight them.
Yeah.
But this should be coming out a little lower.
Yeah, this is a bit more, it's starting to become more about the aerodynamics. So, yeah, agreed.
That sounded right out of the middle. Yeah, good swing.
Yes, sir.
Okay, for us, 7 irons, Pro V1x. With a mid-iron for you, is there anything you look in particular with golf ball? Flight-wise or control?
I hate a golf ball that stalls.
Okay.
It seems to really affect my delivery when I feel like I don't get enough out of the golf ball and I have to put more into it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I would rather hit softer shots than harder shots. So, which for these 3 golf balls would probably place me in Pro V1.
Yeah.
Because X maybe we'll see is a tendency to spike up if you catch it in the wrong part of the head with a little too much dynamic loft. Pro V should just sit just a bit below that, and then AVX may be a little bit
In between those, yeah.
yeah. Or no, AVX will be at the bottom, so it might be a little bit too low in the spin, bring in too many other variables.
Strike. Yeah, nice strike. Okay, Faraz, off into Pro V1. Obviously, Pro V1x is something you game. Have you gamed Pro V1 in the past?
I'd say most of last year was Pro V1.
Okay.
Kind of came back a little bit. Maybe sort of leaning a little bit back the other way. Was the best one.
Sounded clean.
Yeah.
You get a bit more out of it. It's a
Very
nice.
interesting. Pro V1 is spinning the most.
Yeah. But again, when you're the last couple strikes you've hit with this too, early on you hit Pro V1, maybe it, like you said, a little heely strike. They definitely look like they hang out more. This has that little nice little draw, a little bit more penetrating.
Yeah, be interesting to see in a second how much, because like the delivery obviously plays its part, but I don't see that much separation right now. We're focusing on AVX, but I actually have not seen that much difference between V1 and X. Close.
Good strike. That was striped.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, better strike.
Yeah.
Okay, Faraz, again, this AVX ball supposed to be the little bit lower flighting ball, but still has that nice soft, spin around the greens.
Yeah.
You expecting to see this come out in a lower window?
Yeah, this one for sure to come out in a lower window than the other two. There's no doubt about that. Obviously, what we saw, though, is when you hit it softer, you actually get, by having less friction, you get higher launch, lower spin.
Right.
This one, I don't expect to see the launch go up and the spin go down as much. I actually expect this one to come out maybe even a fraction flatter.
Okay, interesting.
I think that's where you start to expose the dynamics of the golf ball, the compression of the golf ball a little bit. It can start to really change its performance.
Okay.
see if it does that. See the difference in the flight of that one?
Yeah.
Like that's when the spin probably to 6, 5,
Yeah.
5, 7.
Yeah, high fives, and like you said, rather than that floater, it's more that penetrating flight. You're getting a little bit more out of it too.
Wasn't quite as good.
A little low.
A little lower in the head.
Got away with it.
Well, the spin will sort of mask
Yeah.
the loss of probably ball speed. Launch came down, spin stayed the same. Actually,
Yeah,
really pretty
yeah.
good.
Great strike. Okay, Fraz, driver test now. Again, I think this is where we should see kind of that flight drop a little bit too. I think that's what it's meant to be. But that's what people want to see: lower flight with their long, whether it's 3-wood, driver, even long irons. So it'd be interesting to see how it progresses throughout the golf balls.
Yeah, and one thing we have to say to you guys as well, because flight indoors simulated and flight outdoors, and we do say it in every one of these tests. So, before we read 100,000 comments, mention it. We know that there could be some variables to this peak height, to the curvature of the golf ball outside.
Totally.
That dimple pattern is very unique on the AVX.
Yeah.
So, it probably will fly out at a lower trajectory outdoors. There's no doubt about that. Yeah. So we're looking at the launch, spin, and speed and how comparable they are across the board. How that simulates is down to GC code.
Totally.
Right? It's not down to the elements today. So, guys, we know that. We get it. We're just trying to give those of you who maybe need a specific spin window, speed, launch, whatever it may be, look at that first. And then outdoors, how you adjust to that particular height is part of the game anyway. So, All right, let's see some big dogs. That was much better.
Great swing. That's hammered.
Okay, V1.
Pro V1, yep. Poofy or not bad?
No, it was pretty good.
A little flatter.
Yeah.
Good swing.
Wee bit spinny.
Yeah, 27.
500. What did the other one spin at? 2100? The Pro V1x?
Yeah. The peak height on that's 107 with Pro V1x, and this guy is 101. A little lower.
The lower launch, isn't it?
Yeah.
11.2.
AVX.
Yeah. That was a good hit.
Yeah.
That's this ball's slower. There's nothing much more to say.
The only thing is, like, they're calling it the lower launching, more penetrating flight, but I mean, okay, I know that one went out a little to the right side or whatever, but peak height-wise, and I know it's indoor, but peak height-wise, I'd rather you play a Pro V1 at this rate. Little knuckly or okay?
Good. I liked it. 12 and 2000.
Yeah.
Initial impressions, thoughts?
I mean, taking a peek at some numbers while you're hitting, it definitely, from what's advertised for that, lower penetrating flight, and again, I know we're indoors, I didn't see it as much from AVX being really low compared to, Pro V1X or Pro V1, but still performed for you.
Yeah, I think for me, if we look across the board at, keeping tight on the tolerances of what we saw in delivery and everything else, I think outdoors is when obviously there's a significant drop in spin there, right? Those two performed very, very similar. This one was similar launch, got to call it exactly the same, speed was exactly the same, but it did spin a little bit less. If we then go into pitch and wedge and we see almost the same thing, launching about the same window, good speed, I was more comfortable hitting my number, to be honest, with that golf ball than I was with the other ones. Like I kind of mentioned, while hitting it, I feel more vulnerable when I go with a higher spin ball. Yeah. Because if I miss it, which is seen here in the ball speed, then I drop short of my number. If we go to the 7, we're kind of again in that
drops a bit.
That window, obviously quite an interesting dynamic between these two. So a little bit more, half a degree more. And a half a degree more in face angle. So there's a little bit of where maybe the Pro V1 got that spin from, but this is an AVX video. Totally. But what strikes me is how similar V1X and V1 are in this test.
Yeah, in this test,
for me.
Yeah.
Quite...
Nothing standing out for you to say, I need to make the switch or I need to play it. The only thing I'll say is, you said it earlier, you don't like that floaty iron. AVX maybe does have, especially on the pitching wedge for me, definitely had a little bit more go to it, more penetrating flight.
And look at that. Like, again, I probably missed a little bit with the V1X because the ball speed is down a little bit. And I really did hit those AVX ones very strong. I want to be, this is more me in terms of my yardages than certainly that is.
167, yeah.
I'm heading to the loft lie machine if I start seeing 167 at my 7-iron. Well, thanks. So again, quite different. It's across the board. There's 700, 800, 900 RPMs in it. When we get to the driver, I felt like I gave all of them a pretty similar swing. The AVX came out the slowest. I didn't feel like I hit it bad at all. No. I felt like I hit it actually really good
drives.
And you can kind of tell that by the standard deviation being really nice and tight.
Yeah, launch and spinner good.
Yeah, it was pretty solid. Again, like interesting, V1 was faster for me than X. Across the board, that seemed to be the way. Now, obviously, the launch conditions going with Pro V1x, but a little bit slower. And so, if you have seen a AVX video from us in the past, you're probably seeing or hearing from us the same feedback as we have said in the past. It is a premium feeling golf ball that spins a little bit less. Outdoors, I do think you'll see a flatter trajectory than you will in a simulator. I really think that's, and I'd love to do this again on TrackMan outdoors. I would. I think if we could actually
see some flights,
track that, get some interesting flights and different winds, that would be pretty cool for this test.
Totally.
But it hangs in there.
It's premium. It's not, you're not sacrificing anything going to play that ball if you're looking for that little bit flatter trajectory.
Definitely. I think the moral of the story is it's a spin story. It's about 700, 800 RPMs less spin. And if that's what you need, you have a solution now within the Pro V1 family.
Totally.
Right? You go with the alternative VX rather than looking for something like a left dog or one of these sort of like really premium options. Because we know, and Titleist have done actually a phenomenal job in the recent documentary on feel. Yeah. And the documentary was very much based around the irons and the journey and the pursuit of feel. Well, I would almost argue a huge part of that is the golf ball. Yeah. You can have that pursuit of feel in the irons, but if you're playing a left dash, you're gonna lose it a little bit. But you can go into AVX, into maybe something like a T200, T150 with a bit of tech in there. The feel is incredible at that point. Really so if feel is big in there, and we know that it is, the statistics, the polls, the feedback from you guys is you love feel. AVX is a phenomenal option. Yeah. And then obviously you've got your steps in feel. Pro V1 would be next. Pro V1X would be next. Left dash after that. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Cool.
Great options within the family. It's an extension of the family, guys, but it is a similar story. We're looking at a lower spin option within that premium space from Titleist, the #1 golf ball in the game.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Okay, guys, hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for more, and we'll see you again soon.